that friendship right from the very beginning.
Hello? I don't know if you
However,
guys
I
can hear me.
think. Oh, now we can
We
hear
can hear
you.
you now. We couldn't hear you for a little bit. After, do you want him to answer
No,
your
like, please,
question?
Ozee, please continue your answer.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, Ozee, you seem to be having some connection issues.
Sorry, guys, I can't hear you. I don't know if you
Okay,
can
could you
hear me.
please
So,
leave the space? OC, could you please tell him to leave the space and come back? It happens like that sometimes.
Okay. So let me just proceed my question to so Onyeka, I think there was a narrative, and I think you've heard about that narrative when you came outside the house. And it's the whole, this you not being a girl's girl because of things that you said, where you would refer to the girls not liking you because of your ass. Not that we're complaining, but then, in retrospect, do you think that this was a problematic thing to say, especially because we all could tell that you were projecting from your past experiences, and that sort of thwarted your current experiences and the narratives and even your utterances and whatever you said about the girls? Can you give a little bit of an explanation, and if in retrospect you shouldn't have said that because that was really problematic, and I think that sparked a lot of discourse outside of the house?
Thank you, Santa. Onyeka, please go ahead.
Actually, it was actually a guy in the house. I think one of the guys in the mix that actually said that to me. That was the reason I said it. But let's not dive into all that. I'm even so tired right now. We did a lot. I just came back from Arise TV. I'm having a headache, and I don't know if I could just take some time. We have a long day tomorrow, guys. Please, would that be okay?
So what are you asking us for, Onyeka, now?
Is it possible for me to step down? I'm not
Okay,
feeling
you're,
too
you're, you're,
well
you're
now.
you're too tired to continue the space as well.
Yes,
All
please.
right, no worries. Yeah, I think you can go. Yes, please go ahead and get your rest.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. I love you all.
Okay, bye-bye, Onyeka.
Okay.
To
Bye.
OC's fans, you have him to yourself. Please go ahead, request, ask him questions, grill him, grill him. He's ready to talk. Ozzy's a lawyer and he can present his case. You guys can't grab him. So go ahead, please. Hands up, questions for Ozzy. Ozzy, please, I hope your connection is good and ready. And OC will be your backup if you need. All right, Ozzy, are you there?
Afro, can I just ask Ocee a question and step out?
Wait, okay. You're asking OC, not OZ, yeah?
Like, put any of the twins you
Okay,
can
go ahead,
answer.
go ahead.
Is like two in one. Hi, Ocee. I'm really happy that you're here. This is not your space, but you're riding for your twin brother, and I'm
And
really happy.
Onyeka and Victoria, but okay.
Not Victoria is your brother, Ocee.
They're both my friends, so
Yeah,
just
but anyways, I know you're here for your brother. This is not like a courtroom. Let's not be politically.
I just told you Onyeka and Victoria are my friends too, but okay.
It's okay, but you're here for your brother. Moving on.
Okay, if you say so.
Stop
Okay.
arguing with the guest, please. He's a guest. Just ask your
Okay.
question, Nikki.
It's okay. So my question is, there was this narrative that you guys made this show boring in the first 2 weeks because you guys didn't want conflict in the house. Though to an extent I believed it, but having watched the show later on, I felt it was just like a cooked up story. What do you have to say about that? Was
Hello?
there in any way, just let me finish.
Oh, sorry. As I was talking, something happened. I left.
Yeah, that's okay, Ozzy. Just let the questioner finish, please. You could
My
probably answer
bad,
this
my bad,
question as well. All right,
my
please go ahead with your question. Are you done asking your question? Where is she? Okay, she's gone. That's fine. Fina, you, once again, I'm calling you. If you don't answer this time, I'm gonna drop you. Fina, are you there? All right. Let's not waste time. Moni, please go
You know,
ahead.
I sort of got the gist of the question she was asking. Should I give my
Yes,
perspective?
please go ahead.
Okay, so it's funny, like I find it strange that people seem to think that myself and my brother could literally control and guide the direction of 26 other adults who at many times showed that they didn't give a damn about what we had to say or how we carried ourselves, right? So if so that narrative that people put out that we kind of control the show, if it looked like that, or if it looked like people respected us or followed our direction, then that was just something that was going on in the house, as opposed to like me and my brother, like, everything is shown and recorded. If we were in a corner strategizing, like, okay, let's move the house this way, let's move the house that way, let's be this, let's be that, I can understand. But people forget that that's a house. Do you understand? People usually tend to gravitate towards people that they would normally respect or they want to have to get along with or whatever. And also, people are not recognizing the fact that um, people forget that, number one, me and my brother are very new to this whole Big Brother experience. We don't watch the show like that. We didn't know anything about it. As I said before, getting on the show was when I started to know about head of house and all those type of things. You could always see me and my brother asking people, okay, what does this mean? Do you understand? How does this work? How does that translate? So it was almost as though everybody else knew what was going on and they were playing their own games. You can tell from people's diary room sessions how they don't say anything in the person, but they go and talk to Big Brother. You can tell from me and my brother's diary room sessions, we don't really speak about people. We only speak about ourselves. We try to move in a professional manner. So this narrative that people say or try to put or say we gaslight people or this, that, this, then nobody ever considers the Umbadiwe twins or their feelings or them being gaslit or them being led in certain directions. But it is what it is. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So that's all I have to say to that one.
I mean, I thank you for that. OC, her, do you have anything? Do you have a follow up for him? Because I do.
Yeah, I think that, the reason that narrative exists is you guys are obviously, and this is neither good or bad, but you were the oldest housemates, right? And I think you guys had your guard up a bit, and there were several occasions where you would look at housemates and their reactions to certain things happening in the house, and you would say, "Don't lose guard." You guys took that very literally. And for a show where we just want housemate, it's a reality TV show, right? We want to see how people react to their environment. We want to see how, circumstances influence the housemates' behavior. I think for, a couple of times you guys kind of nipped it in the bud and we couldn't see the full range of reaction from housemates. And so I think that's why that narrative exists, is that for a number of times in the house, you pointed out to the housemates that they were doing too much or they were loose guarding, as you guys, used to say. So I think that, and I don't think we can fully blame you both for the way the show went. I think everyone this season, for the most part, was kind of guarded, with the exception of maybe two or three housemates. But if that narrative exists, it's because of the way you guys were, handled a few situations that happened in the house.
Okay, so can I address that? That is perfectly fine what you just said. Like I said, when you're watching this stuff from outside, it looks different than when you're inside the house. Okay. Um, when people say we're the oldest, you think that we were 50 and everybody in the house was 19. Do you understand? There was TJ, a grown man who's already married and has a child, a father, a doctor at that. There was Kelly Ray, who just turned 35 just before we left the show. A lot of the girls in there were in their late 20s, early 30s. You had an auntie and a daughter in there. Sorry, an auntie and a niece in there. Do you understand? These are fully grown adults, fully grown professionals. All you can try to do is, the theme of the show was no lose guard. And the way they wrote it in the rule book was like, listen, you can be caught unawares at any given time. Just to show you the lack of competitiveness in terms of me and my brother are more about care and more about fostering relationships. Like, I could have just said, why are we even telling these people to not lose guard? Do you understand? Everybody just lose guard, and maybe that could create an easier path to the end of the show. But there were also times where people told us not to lose guard, or where we all told ourselves not to lose guard. Do you understand? And most of the time, I feel like when me and my brother were saying no lose God, it was in more of a, it wasn't like, guy, oh, no lose God. It was in more of a, like, we just tackle each other. Do you understand? But like I'm saying, it's fine about the narratives being painted. There's so many different narratives that are being painted. That's the aim of the show, I guess. It's like if 80
OC,
million people
OC,
are watching.
OC, OC, OC. I understand what you're saying, and I think we get the gist of it. I want to direct this question to OZ because, and following on from what you said, even when housemates were being exuberant with their wins, you took offense to that, right? And you have to understand, for us as viewers, these are some of the highlights of the show. Housemates being exuberant, and
Listen,
that doesn't.
before you get
Sorry,
to Ozee,
let me just finish my question. That doesn't mean that we want you all to just fight, because I think this narrative that okay, when the viewers are saying the show was not as exciting as we expected. For me, it was cerebral, so I had some things to analyze. But you have to understand, when we say it was not as exciting in part as we wanted, it doesn't mean that we just wanted fights and arguments. Those moments where housemates were exuberantly celebrating their wins, or they were like being jocular, these are all parts of what makes the show really dope, right? And you guys, being probably more conservative than the rest of the house, would oftentimes, perhaps without meaning to, put a stop to that. You would say, don't do this, don't do
no,
that, it's
no, 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 no,
offensive, it's
no, no.
rude.
Listen, I'm saying I only said that in regards to me, right? Hello?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
I couldn't care less how other housemates celebrated their wins. Although I was recognized the fact that sometimes it was a bit over the top, but that's calm. Everybody can do what they want. I only took offense, which was one time where I felt the celebrations in my face were a bit too much. That was it. I didn't care
Okay,
how housemates reacted to their celebrations. Listen, do whatever you want to. Fight if you want to fight. Cry if you want to cry. Do you understand? If I come and meet you and you tell me, oh, handle this situation this way, it's not by force for me to react that way. I can do whatever I want. That's why I keep saying there are
I hear
adults
you.
there, but it's okay.
I hear you. I hear you.
Look, I
Mrs.
only care when my name is being mentioned or
I
when
hear you.
somebody's saying something about me. That's what I care about.
I hear you. Mrs. Hare, you told me you had a spicy question. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Sure, go ahead.
Awesome. So my question is for Ozee, but since Ozee is also a speaker, he can, by extension, answer like after Ozee answers. But so you and your brother's friendship with Chekas was very intriguing to a lot of viewers. But I wanted to highlight one specific night. It was Saturday, August 31st. I have the date. You said to Chizoba, and I quote, checkers cannot teach me anything. I am the one who can teach them. And so Chizoba kind of pushed back on that, but you kind of mentioned that the age gap was sort of in your favor to occupy that role as teacher. And then you said that their exposure is limited to only Nigeria, while you guys had global experience, which would also position you better to be their teachers. So my question is, especially when you and OC talk about how self-auditing yourself can be harmful, this was said to Onyeka, is your friendship dynamic with people one where you sort of occupy the teacher role, which in itself is a power dynamic? And if not, do you think that you can be friends with people who have things to teach you? And did you learn anything from Chekas?
I would like to hear from OZ, please. OZ, go ahead.
I learned things from checkers. That's the answer I can give you the question. Checkers were part of my growth. For everything else, it's easy to say things but not paint the context. And if I dwell on it, it's just another up and down situation. But the punchline I'll give you is that I learned things from checkers, of course. I came in there open to learn. That was part of the experience.